I've always been fascinated by urban exploration, the thrill of uncovering forgotten places, the eerie silence of structures left to decay. But nothing could have prepared me for what I encountered at Mowgli's palace. This so-called Disney resort, built in the late 90s, was meant to be a jungle-themed paradise inspired by the Jungle Book. It was supposed to transport guests into an exotic world of adventure, with lush green landscapes, artificial rivers, animatronic animals that mimicked the wonders of the wild. But before it could even open to the public, Disney shut it down. The reasons were never clear. Some blamed financial mismanagement. Others whispered about something much darker. Years passed, and Mowgli's palace became a ghost of itself, swallowed by nature, forgotten by time. That is, until I decided to see it for myself. Getting to the resort wasn't easy. Nestled deep in a remote forest, the only way in was through an overgrown dirt road, barely visible on old maps. The air was thick with humidity. The trees loomed over me like silent sentinels, their twisted branches clawing at the sky. After hours of hiking, I saw it, the grand entrance to Mowgli's palace. The massive iron gates were rusted, barely holding onto their hinges. The once bright sign was faded and covered in vines, the letters peeling away. But the most unsettling detail? The words "abandoned by Disney" were crudely spray-painted across the entrance, in dripping red paint. Something about those words sent a chill down my spine. Stepping inside, the silence was suffocating. The pathways were cracked, weeds bursting through the stone. The artificial jungle that once thrived had become a real one, reclaiming the land. Broken animatronics lay scattered, their glassy eyes staring lifelessly at nothing. The once vibrant murals of Mowgli and Baloo were faded and peeling, their smiles twisted by decay. The main building, a massive palace-like structure, stood ominously at the heart of the park. Its entrance doors were slightly ajar, swaying with the wind, as if beckoning me inside. I hesitated, then stepped through. The grand lobby was in ruins, chandeliers hung by a thread, their crystals missing or shattered across the floor. Furniture lay overturned, covered in a thick layer of dust. The air was heavy with the scent of mold, and something else, something metallic. I moved deeper into the palace, my footsteps echoing unnaturally. I found guest rooms left untouched, their beds still made, as if waiting for guests who would never arrive. The play areas were littered with broken toys, their faces cracked and disfigured. But then I heard it, a whisper. At first I thought it was the wind, but then it came again, closer, a childlike giggle, distorted and unnatural, coming from the dark hallway ahead. I froze. The sound of shuffling footsteps echoed through the corridor. I wasn't alone. With my heart pounding, I pressed forward, my flashlight flickering. The walls were covered in strange markings, symbols, words in a language I didn't recognize. The deeper I went, the stronger the sense of being watched became. And then I saw it. A figure stood at the end of the hallway, half shrouded in darkness. It was wearing an old, worn-out Mickey Mouse costume. But something was wrong. The fabric was rotting, the seams barely holding together. And the eyes, they weren't the oversized, friendly cartoon eyes I expected. They were hollow, empty, tilted its head slowly, as if studying me. Then it moved. I turned and ran. The walls seemed to close in, the halls twisting and warping as I sprinted back the way I came. The laughter followed me, growing louder, more distorted. It was no longer childlike. It was something else, something wrong. I burst through the entrance, stumbling onto the cracked pavement outside. The laughter stopped. When I turned back, the doors were shut. I didn't stop running until I reached my car. I never told anyone about what I saw, not because they wouldn't believe me, but because I didn't want to remember. But sometimes, in the dead of night, I still hear it, the distant sound of laughter, faint but unmistakable. And every time I wonder, did I escape Mowgli's palace? Or did I bring something back with me?